Minasan konnichiwa, Ali desu. Hi everyone, my name is Ali. Welcome or welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're going to talk about how I revised my language study goals for the year 2024. Let's go! So as you guys would have noticed, we are already in May, so that means 4 months have passed for the year 2024, and usually 4 months is a good period of time for me to understand whether or not I am going somewhere with my goals for the year, with my language goals, and it's usually a good period of time for me to implement my goals and see whether I need to revise them, make any adjustments to them. So that's exactly the question I asked myself 2 weeks ago, and it turns out I did revise my goals, so that's exactly what we're going to cover today. So first of all, a quick recap about what I'm currently studying. I am currently studying 3 languages. I study Japanese at an advanced level, Chinese, Mandarin Chinese at an upper beginner level, Russian at the beginner level. Now, in this video, I will of course recap what were my original goals, the goals I set for myself in January this year. However, if you want to know all the details about these goals, I would advise you to go and watch my actual video on the goals I set for myself for this year, since in that video I of course go into a lot more details about each of these goals and why I chose them for each language. Now, without further ado, let's get started, and we're going to start with Japanese. So my original goals recap for Japanese. My first goal was to get to university level in the language. My second goal was to improve my kanji level. And then my third and fourth goal were to improve my expression skills, written expression skills, and oral expression skills. I had 2 bonus goals, the first one of which was to get the BJT for the Business Japanese test, J1 level, and the second bonus goal was to get to the 6th level of the Kanken exam. Now let me do a progress report on each of these goals. Alright, so with regards to the first goal, get to university level. So this is a very broad goal that concerns pretty much all skills within the Japanese language. My goal here is really to improve my level in all 4 language skills plus the kanji skill, to make sure that I'm at the same level as someone who gets out of university and basically goes to work. In Japan, we call that the shakaijin level. Basically means that you got all the knowledge necessary to just go into the world and contribute to society. So means your education is done, over. You've covered everything. That's where I'm getting at with this goal. Is definitely a goal that I set myself for this year, but that is going to take me way longer than 1 year to achieve. And so far, for the first 4 months of this year, I have definitely not been actively studying for this goal in particular. I have been focusing on improving my listening abilities, all the technical listening I've been doing every single week, and from which I have been extracting a lot of technical or more specific vocab, rarer vocab. This has all contributed to this goal. And then, of course, all the reading immersion I've been doing has also been contributing to this goal. But this is really immersion practice that I've been doing. It's always contributing to me reaching that level of shakaijin. However, I have not been actively studying for it, and I do have some resources that I want to go through to actively study for it. It's just that it was not my priority for the first 4 months of this year. That's basically where I am with this goal. Now, improving my kanji level. So my second goal, I have made a lot of progress there. I've definitely improved my kanji level, both by active studying. So I have been covering the Shinkansen Master for N1 level. I love this textbook. I'm talking to you about it all the time. And then on the side, I've also been doing a lot of reading immersion. I think I'm at 18 or 20 books read in Japanese for this year. So definitely all of that is helping me on my kanji knowledge, recognition aspect, the reading aspect. I feel like my kanji level now is much better than it was at the beginning of the year. So this goal is definitely, in progress. On my third goal, to improve my expression skills in Japanese, so both orally and in written form, I have started implementing this goal by practicing my expression skills by myself. However, I haven't done it enough, in my opinion, and I do need to do it a lot more to see any kind of significant progress. I haven't made a significant progress during these first 4 months of the year. Regarding my first bonus goal, which is to get to level J1 of the BJT, I haven't touched that yet for the year, so I haven't restarted my studying of business Japanese, so that will be for later during the year. And then regarding my last goal and last bonus goal, which is to get to the level 6 of the kanji kente test, I checked what were the required kanji for this level of the exam, and I think I have improved my kanji knowledge enough now to be able to probably pass it without much effort. So I have started looking into level 5 instead, so the level above level 6. It's in the reverse order. I know it doesn't make much sense, but that's just how they present the test levels here in Japan. So that brings me to how I actually revised my goals. In the end, I actually shrinked my goals a little bit. You'll see why. So I still have this broad goal to get myself to university level or shakaijin level. This is not touched. Regarding my second goal to improve my kanji level, I actually changed it to get to the kanken gokyu level, so the level 5 of the kanji kente test, instead of simply having to improve my kanji skills just on their own. I don't know why I didn't link that before. I think it made sense in January in my head, but then when I looked at my goals again 2 weeks ago, I realized that these two things were actually pretty much the same thing. So I simply merged these two goals and I upgraded the goal itself from level 6 to level 5 of the kanji kente. If I get to level 5 of this exam this year, this will definitely be a huge improvement to my kanji knowledge in general. Then my third goal now is basically a merging of my two goals regarding the improvement of my expression skills. So I had two separate goals, my goal for oral skills and my goal for written skills. I just merged the two, and now my goal is to improve my expression skills in general. And finally, my last goal, which is this one, a bonus goal, because I really want to prioritize the first 3 goals on this list for this year. It's not changed, and it's to get the BJT J1 level. So that's it for Japanese. Now let's move on to Chinese. For Chinese, let's do my original goals recap. My first and only goal was to get to HSK 2 level. My second goal was a bonus one. It was to read 1 book in Chinese this year. And then my third goal was also a bonus one. It was to start conversation practice in Chinese. Now let me do the progress report on each of these goals. So the foremost goal I have for Chinese this year is simply to get to intermediate level in general. And I thought that I wouldn't be able to get much further than HSK 2 level. But as it turns out, I actually tested myself on HSK 1 level first, doing this step by step. I hadn't done it so far, and I've done it last week, and I've actually got a 95%. So how did I test myself? Very simple. I downloaded from the internet past papers for the HSK 1. Then within those, I chose one. I printed it out. I also got the audio file that comes with it for the listening section of the exam. And then I sat down and tested myself, went through the whole thing. So I will do the same thing for the HSK 2 level. I will also go through at least one past paper to see where my level is. And I feel like I will probably also go through the HSK 2 level quite easily. So I now realize that, the goal to get to HSK 2 level this year was too low, actually. I was able to study Chinese much more than what I had originally anticipated. So it's time to revise that goal, definitely. Now, my second goal was to read 1 book. And again, as it turns out, thanks to all the reading practice I have been doing on the app Do Chinese, I feel very comfortable now with reading in Mandarin. Simple stuff, of course, but still. And so I have actually started on my first book, and it's not taking me long to read because it is a short story collection. I will probably read this quite fast. So I think that this goal is going to be completed quite early in the year. Again, I think it's time to upgrade that goal to keep me motivated. Now, my last goal was to start conversation practice, and so far I haven't done that yet. I haven't registered myself on any platform to do that. I feel like my level in Chinese right now is too low to start conversation practice. So that's definitely something that I will start doing towards the end of the year, if I can manage to do it, of course. And I think that the best thing I've been doing that is helping me to get to that level, start speaking really, is all the shadowing practice I've been doing. So I'm doing quite a bit of listening immersion just on its own, and also listening immersion while reading on the Do Chinese app, playing the audio while I read something. And actually during these two types of listening immersion practice, maybe 50% of the time I've been doing a lot of shadowing, because I just feel this natural urge to repeat what I hear and to try and pronounce it correctly and get into the habit of how the language is structured and really getting used to the rhythm of the language. So now, how did I revise my goals? So first of all, I upgraded my first goal, of course. It's not realistic for me to aim for HSK 2 level only for this year. Probably going to get more towards HSK 3 level, and that definitely gives me a lot of motivation to tell myself that if by the end of this year I can be at HSK 3 level, I would be thrilled, because it means I will start being autonomous in the language, at least to immerse myself in it, which is, as you guys probably know, one of my biggest motivations to learn languages in the first place. I want to be autonomous and consume contents on my own. So definitely it gives me a lot of motivation, and so that's now my new foremost goal. Now my second goal, which is now not a bonus goal anymore, is actually to read 2 books instead of 1 in Chinese this year. And once again, I think that this is definitely linked to my personal preference and what I actually want to be doing with my languages. I love reading in foreign languages, so having a goal of 2 books to be read before the end of the year in Chinese is motivating me a lot. Now my third goal, which is actually an additional goal, which I hadn't foreseen in January this year when I wrote my list of goals for the year with the language, is to improve my Hanzi level. I was prepared to definitely relearn a lot about characters in general, the Chinese Hanzi being quite different from the Japanese kanji, and yet I realized that I had to actually study them on their own. That's what this goal is about, and by the end of this year I want to be comfortable with Hanzi as I am comfortable with kanji in general. And then my last goal is still my bonus goal to start conversation practice. Hasn't changed, I haven't modified it. So that's it for Chinese. Let's move on to Russian. So let's start with my original goals recap. My first goal was to get to A1 level in Russian. My second goal was to improve my Cyrillic cursive. And then I had a bonus goal, which was to go through 12 of the Easy Russian podcast episodes. Now let me do the progress report on these goals. So the first one was to bring myself to A1 level in the language. I have done the same thing I've done for Chinese. I've looked for past papers for the A1 level of the exam, and I am about to test myself on it. By the looks of it, I think I'm almost there already. I'm not there yet. I don't think I will pass this comfortably. However, I think A1 level is definitely too low for this year. And actually, the book I'm using for active studying of the language, so the Assimil textbook, is supposed to bring me to B2 level by the time I finish this textbook, which is going to be by the end of this year, definitely, because I'm already past lesson 50 out of 100. So I'll definitely finish this textbook before the end of the year. However, I don't think I'm going to be actually B2 level by the end of it. I'm probably going to be in between. In any case, A1 level was way too low of a goal for this year. With my second goal, to improve my Cyrillic cursive, I think my Cyrillic cursive has improved significantly. I've been receiving a lot of compliments from you guys, actually. Thank you so much for telling me that my Cyrillic handwriting was looking good. Really, I appreciate it. I have really been focusing on that for the first 4 months of this year. I've been doing a ton of writing exercises to make sure I actually get comfortable with writing in Russian, and especially especially in cursive handwriting. I have even gone through a whole practice book, which was the Asimil practice book for Russian Cyrillic. So yeah, I feel like I can actually tell you that I've already completed this goal, because that's the level I wanted to reach when I formulated this goal at the beginning of this year. So that's it, I'm done with it. And then the last goal was to go through 12 podcast episodes of the Easy Russian channel, and actually I've completely stopped using this resource for now, because I think it's a bit of a waste to go through it now, since the level is pretty much intermediate to advanced, and going through it now I can't really understand much. So I feel like I should really pay attention to it a bit later in my studying of the language. So for now I have stopped using this resource. So now how I actually revised my goals for Russian. So instead of an A1 level goal, I actually want to reach B1 level by the end of the year, and realistically I think I'm gonna be close to it, but probably not actually be there, but that's good. I know it gives me motivation to push myself and study even more, even though I know I will probably not be there exactly by the end of the year. The second goal, to improve my Cyrillic cursive, is still there, but in the sense that I want to focus on reading it this time, and not specifically cursive, just Cyrillic in general. My reading skills of the language, so being able to pronounce it as it is written without even knowing what I'm saying, or the specific vocab I encounter when I read. I feel like this language can be read just on its own, and you don't necessarily need to understand what you're reading. At least I want to become comfortable with reading Cyrillic by the end of this year. And then I actually modified my bonus goal, which was to go through the Easy Russian podcast, into reading a book in Russian before the end of the year, because I feel like I'm probably going to be able to do it. That's quite a big shot, but I'm gonna try. Alright guys, that's it for today's video. I hope you liked it. I want to end this video by saying that revising your language study goals, or any goals for that matter, is a very necessary part of organization in your studies or projects. You can't have everything figured out at the beginning. Implementation of your goals is necessarily going to bring you more knowledge and insights. During your implementation, you're going to understand things which you could not understand the day you formulated your goals in the first place. So I gave you an example of how I revised them, deleting some, improving some, merging some. That's exactly what I need to keep myself going and make sure my goals are still motivating. I hope that this gave you some ideas for your own language goals for the year. I would be very happy if that actually also prompts you to revise your own goals. If you want to share with us, if you want to share with the community and with me, of course, you can leave that in the comment section below. So you can tell me what your original goals were and how you revised them, and what were your reasons behind your revisions. As always, thank you for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye bye! Matane!